The key principles of KOSH, at health safety. Many industries deal with hazardous substances in their workplace every single day. For instance, companies involved in manufacturing may need to use chemicals to produce certain materials. Other industries that are known to deal with hazardous substances are healthcare industries and food industries. KOSH aims to ensure safe handling and control of hazardous substances within work premises. KOSH means Control of Substances Hazardous to Health Regulations. These regulations detail how employers should handle hazardous substances in their premises to keep everyone safe. Especially the employees who are in direct contact with these substances. The KOSH regulations are important because they ensure that the employees will stay safe when handling dangerous substances and materials at work. Failure of the employer to comply with the KOSH regulations is a crime and is punishable by a hefty fine. KOSH has various components, all of which are put in place to ensure that all employees will be safe. Risk assessment is the first component of KOSH, a process that requires identifying the hazardous substances that are present in the workplace. The Health and Safety Executive has provided employers with guidelines to help them understand how to properly carry out a risk assessment. It involves surveying the premises and noting down all the potentially dangerous substances in it and determining if these substances will come into contact with employees. When a possible risk of exposure to hazardous substances has been identified during assessment, the employer should come up with a solution to ensure the safety of the employees. One of the most effective solutions is replacing the substance with something safe or less hazardous. For instance, if it has been identified during risk assessment that some cleaning products are made of hazardous chemicals, employers should swap it with something safer or less dangerous. It could also mean replacing powder substances with liquid, which is much easier to store and control. Another thing that employers should do is to look for ways to limit the employee's exposure to these dangerous substances. There are many ways that an employer can do this, depending on the type of substances involved. Limiting exposure will also include requiring employees to wear proper protective clothing. Reducing the amount of time that they need to spend in working with potentially dangerous substances, and teaching them how to properly store these substances. The KOSH regulations also set down how employers should act in case of an emergency because whether we like it or not, accidents do happen. Employers should be able to provide first aid to the affected party and must designate individuals who should be the first ones to respond when an emergency arises. The KOSH regulations require employers to conduct training and constant education to ensure that everyone knows what they need to do to minimize their exposure to these hazards. Employers should provide ongoing structured KOSH training to make sure that the knowledge and skills in handling hazardous substances remain fresh. Since hazardous substances require special handling and storage, the employers should be able to make available information sheets for the benefit of the employees. These data sheets should detail how these substances should be handled to avoid accidents and minimize exposure.